some of the hottest cars New York has ever seen. From dropping some of the hottest verses rappers ever heard. From the dope spot with the smoke, fleeing the murder scene, you know me well. From nightmares of a lonely cell, my only hell. But since when y'all brothers know me to fail? Heck no, we're all my brothers with the rubber grips for shots. And if you with me, mama, rub on your tits and whatnot. I'm from the school of the hard knocks, you must not. That outsiders violate our box in my pot. Let's stick up the world and split it 50-50, Let's take the dough and stay real taking, And sip the Chris and get pissy, flowing beneath me like the memory of my brother Biggie, baby. You know it's hell when I come through. The life and times of Sean Carter, brother, volume 2. Y'all brothers get ready. It's the hard knock life for us. It's the hard knock life for us. Instead of treated, we get tricked. Instead of kisses, we get kicked. It's the hard knock life. It's the hard knock life for us. It's the hard knock life for us. Instead of treated, we get tricked. Instead of kisses, we get kicked. It's the hard knock life.
All right. Glad to be here with you guys. We got the one and only Mr. Will Fix in the house. We got Adam of Vibra Finance, and we also have a great community member, which is Mr. Goo God in the house. We're going to be learning about some things that, let's face it, unless you're part of these communities, you might not be aware of. You know, just real quick as a disclaimer, you know, Will and I, this is somewhat new to us. When I first started, I'm not going to try to mention my old partner too much, but we got into Hex a little bit, covered it, but not since then. So with that said, I look at it this way. You have to have an open eye or open mind, I should say, to some of this stuff. And that's where Will and I are at right now. It's like we have short-term gains. We have obviously the long-term ones. You guys in the community have messaged us about, you know, what about the now money? What is real true DeFi? I don't know this. I want to earn money now. I got plenty of that stuff to 2026 and 2030. Where is that now money? Adam and definitely Goo is awakened me to that notion. So want to say, how are you doing, Will, Adam, Goo? Glad to have you guys here.
Man, I'm just glad to be here. Ready to learn, ready to pick these wonderful minds.
Yeah, this is what it's all about. And I've been in here crypto every day for 5 years now, trying to show people what I think are the best projects, the best stuff. And when you see Max's streams for the first time, then you start watching them and you get to see he's such a good person. He's here. He truly loves this stuff. And people like that, in my opinion, I want to share the stuff that I think is going to make the most money on, the best opportunities with, because he deserves to be in it. If he's spending so much time putting all this work in on these presentations about Stellar, about Ripple, about Hedera, about Quant, about Clearpool, Jasmy, he doesn't have time to look into 1,000 hours of research in the stuff that I can look at. So we can kind of team up together and all have certain parts of the market that we cover or we really enjoy the most or whatever it is, just sharing and spreading that and all us growing together. That's how we all win.
Amen.
Absolutely, bro. And just to touch base on that, you know, Maximus has brought us a lot of alpha, and this alpha has led to gains. And like Adam said, you know, the man doesn't have enough time in the day to do everything. So we're here to give that little bit of extra alpha, and what we see a lot of potential in, and what the market is just kind of screaming bottom signals right now. So this is actually the perfect time to introduce everybody to PulseChain.
We appreciate you guys. Listen, just real quick, because you guys know what we're accustomed to do here. We're all about community. We're going to just recognize a few people. This time around, so clicking on it, we're just going to fast track through it because you got to keep in mind, I mean, we got quite a few people here, our guests. We just kindly ask you to smash the like, follow our brothers in this community. A lot of you already following Will over at his channel, which is at Will Fix. On X, he's also at Will Fix 7. You guys could follow me on X as well at DPG Maximus. You already are. But whatever the case be, also want to give a shout out to Adam's channel, which is, I believe, just at Vibra Finance, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And then also Goo, like you see on his, he's already ahead of us, right? Look at him. He's already got it all right there for us. So you could be following him over there on X as well. But we're going to welcome some of you guys just real quick. This guy, I know you want to click on everything, but he's been a long time community member. Mr. Boomer F is sooner in the house. Glad to have you, brother. Also,
I see Tim Shea down there, the mayor of crypto. Let's go,
right.
bro. I'm here.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's been part of this whole community for a long time. So glad to see the OGs in the house. And then on top of that, we're just going to welcome a few more of you guys. I see on the other screen we have, let's see here, SB Facing Reality. Really appreciate you guys being here. Harry, Pulse Ray Vision, Margaritas, Ante Cor, or excuse me, Porcas. Welcome. The Prairie Banana, I recognize you. Glad to have you. Glad that you're having an open mind to some of this stuff. So, Mr. T, Cat's in the house. Shaq Thompson, part of our community. Glad to have you, brother. Shalom, as he always says. R2R Network, welcome. Loco Toe. And if I didn't mention some of the other guys, I apologize. Sebra, yeah, we're about to hear, start here. Juan, Guanaco, Golden Pig. Interesting names, but we welcome you guys. So, with that said, we're going to jump into it. And basically, it's like this. Will, I don't know if you want to go first, but, I think maybe you should because, if Will feels this way of like unanswered questions, there's probably other people that feel this way. So I'll also do some follow-up. But, Will, there were some things I know that you want to bring to the attention of either Goo or Adam. Go for it, sir.
Okay, well, typical banking, I can understand, the Fed pays a certain rate, the bank trims that out, lends the money and pays you, in your savings, just a portion of that. But in DeFi, I don't have a clue how the money's made, which is curious to me because I see some projects paying 24, 25%. I see other projects paying, 4, 5, 6%, 10, 12%. And I don't understand, where the money's coming from and how they're able to pay that. So that would be an interest to me is somebody to touch on what's going on there.
Yeah. So with the US dollar, they could just print out of thin air, right? Anyone goes and gets a loan, the money's just created. With Hex, there is set inflation that's in the code, 3.69% per year. And if that inflation is paid to stakers. And if, say, for example, you have the ability to lock up for 1 day, you can stake for up to 5 days, which is almost 15 years. The longer you stake, the more you get paid. So there's also fees that come out. Say do a stake for 1 year and I get impatient after 8 months and I want to end that stake, I pay a huge penalty. So that goes to paying other stakers. And you can look online and see the penalties every day from people that are impatient. So if everybody was staked out, I believe the yield drops down to, I think it's like 10 to 12% per year if everyone is fully staked out. But obviously people don't do that. A large portion of the supply is held by the OA address, which it may or not be Richard Hart, but none of that hex has ever moved. And I don't think it ever will. There's never been signs of any of that. So you need to take your hex and you need to stake it. And then when you stake it, it burns the hex and you get what's called a T share. And the T share is what is the most special thing about hex, because that T share has a payout rate. So for every T share that you earn, it pays you a certain amount of hex per day. And right now we're around 7 hex per T-share per day. And some days when whales come and nuke a stake, that jumps up to 10 to some. There was a 30 something hex per T-share payout when somebody got hacked and someone came and nuked all the stakes in the account. So you have to wait 50% of the stake before you can end stake all of it. So if I did one for 15 years, I can't end stake it I can do it early, but you lose 50% up until halfway or something like that. But the new inflation where you're talking about, how do they pay 15, 18, 20% per year? Well, there's the 3.69% that's built in the code, and then all the extra from people that pay penalties from nuking their stakes. So that's where it comes from. It's not like it can be created or any more. Like there's a certain amount that comes every year, 3.69%. And then once you're staked and you burn your hex off the market for the T-share, then you start earning the yield. And when your stake is up, you burn the T-share and you receive your principal back and the yield you accumulated.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. If you have any like questions or like right away, like what comes to your head, like you can, whatever, like I'm here I'm an open book.
There's other coins you can stake on Hex. Is that right?
No, Hex was the first one, and it was originally supposed to be called Bitcoin Hex. But then Richard, he was an OG in Bitcoin. Richard was mining it way back in the day when it was 50 cents a coin. So he was back in Bitcoin since 2010. So there's very few people that are public and are here trying to help people. Like he's written a self-help book. Like he's been on stream for thousands of hours, just answering questions from the community and just trying to genuinely help people, keep them away from scams. He has it on his own webpage. Most people lose in crypto. It's the most volatile asset in the world. Do not leverage trade. You're going to lose your money. So he tells people where no other founders are doing that. He's so transparent. And then he gets crucified by everyone else in the industry. And it really is crazy. But I think once this SEC case kind of blows away, because there were 200 hexagons that went down to New York and went into the courtroom and listened to the case. And they said the judge made a fool of the SEC, of the lawyers. They looked like clowns. They had nothing that was even remotely close to being evidence or anything. They were going around in circles. So they were saying they were shocked that they shouldn't just drop it on the spot. So once he's gone of that, once Trump comes in, Gary Gensler's gone, it's all going to flip the narrative and the notion the public has against crypto. And now's the opportunity to front run all those people that are going to see it when the price is 50 cents or higher. And that was the same thing last cycle. Nobody wanted it when it was under a penny, but it was 5, 10, 15, 20 cents. Everyone wanted it then. And it was so funny. And it's going to happen again.
What is there an automated market maker with Hex?
Oh yeah. So Richard Hart, he created PulseChain, which is a fork of Ethereum. That's the one that the logo right here. And PulseChain is just faster, cheaper Ethereum. And there was a full system state copy. So Matt Riley here says, could you tell us how to capture the ETH coins from the snapshot before the Pulse launch? So if you held Chainlink, if you held Quant, if you held any ERC20 in your wallet before the snapshot, that wallet has those coins on the other side. And right now, like I've been buying up Quant over on PulseChain, and I started buying it at a couple cents, and it ran all the way up to over $1, and now it's kind of fallen down. But what's crazy is there's wrapped Bitcoin over on PulseChain, Pulse wrapped Bitcoin, and there's only 155,000 of them. And Richard Hart owns over 90% of those coins. And I have a sneaking suspicion he's going to pump the price of his wrapped Bitcoin to, if not higher than the price of the BlackRock Bitcoin, because it was this time last year, it was like $30. And now this year it just hit $2,000, and now it's dipped back down. But if it went from like $5 to $10 up to 2,000, there's a very good chance that, you know, it keeps going. And with this stablecoin pDAI that he has, the ramifications, if he pulls that off, of how big that's going to be, because we all know stablecoins are like the talk of crypto right now, how important they are for liquidity and keeping people on your chain. And this pDAI is a brand new way of trying to have a decentralized stablecoin for the people, where they can't shut you down. If you went and used a mixer or you did something wrong, USDC, USDT, and RLUSD have admin keys that can shut down your wallet. So if you try to send your coins to a new wallet, they can just lock them, so you can't transact. So if they come down in the future hard, if you ever did something allegedly bad, you can lose those stable coins. And I don't want that. I want to have a stable coin that is my own, just like $1 in my pocket. And that's what pDAI could be on PulseChain. And it went from fractions of a penny to being able to make endless amounts of it, to now it's over 1.5 cents, and there's millions of dollars in liquidity. And if that happens, there's already been a vote. I mean, it's too much to get into now, but that's a whole nother stream. But if that happens, it's going to make PulseChain the home of DeFi for the foreseeable future, for years to come.
And it's not nothing new. This is stuff that has been in the work for like 7 years at least. So when people just starting to hear about it now, and they're saying to themselves, oh, how these guys are just going to make this happen overnight. Like, no, this has already been in the works for at least a minimum of 7 years.
Yeah, I like that. That's impressive, because I mean, it's not like this just happened, a few months ago and whatnot. I mean, just coming out of last bull market, going from 2021 to crypto winter 2022. I remember it was like one of the first things that we're talking about was, Richard Hart and Hex and so on. And then people were like, yeah, it's actually been around for a while. So it's survived, obviously, these storms and whatnot. But it's always been on the back of, the back of my mind. And then, Adam, when I saw you reaching out to, our community, and, you have your community and so on, I was just like, man, Adam really is into this whole thing of Hex and PulseChain and whatnot. Something else I want to bring up real quick before we start getting some of your questions. I'm glad you guys have great questions. I mentioned this to Adam and also Will, back in the green room. And we are all aware of the whole thing of, the massive rug pull of Terra Luna. Well, you had this video, and, I think it was really well done personally, but it was just from this guy, and by all means, support some of these guys in the space. I'm just going to pull up like the video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I might show just a little taste of it. And just to show you guys what I'm talking about, it's called The Plan. This guy deserves all the credit in the world for his, I guess you could say, PulseChain, alpha. This guy shares this whole thing. I'll just read the description real quick about, I'm sure you guys see part of the screen. I'm going to full screen it for just a moment. This is the plan to peg pDAI, creating the world's only true decentralized stablecoin, and establish PulseChain as the world's most decentralized blockchain. Now, again, this is 19 minutes. We're not going to sit here with all of us on this panel and watch this together, right? But I encourage you guys to follow this guy, and basically his channel, just real quick, because he deserves it. I love and respect people that provide education. As you guys know, I'm a former educator. So he can be followed at Decentralize Me. He speaks so well. I love his accent. But the point is this, okay? He brings up how they're going to peg pDAI. And these are things, whether it's Will, I'm not to tell on your brother, right? We're all learning, right? I don't care who you are. If you stop learning, then you're a pompous, what? You're being ignorant. Like, we can always learn something new every day, right? I don't care if it's crypto, whatever. You got to have an open mind to things. But my thing was Terra Luna Classic, or before it was called Terra Luna Classic, Terra seemed like it was something so solid. Everybody was talking about it, and Do Kwon did his thing. All right. Well, it references what happened with USDC. it references some of the other things where it kind of somewhat lost its peg for what was it, Adam, like a day. I remember when this happened because we covered this, right? And there were some people were kind of like, "Oh no, is this Terra Luna again?" It wasn't. We were fine, but it's capitalizing on that and understanding how can we have a mechanism that's going to peg, apparently, right, Adam, pDAI, keep it there, and at the same time, those that are invested in this ecosystem, not too far off, Goo, you can join in as well, where we can earn yield on that where everybody wins. So that's, I kind of want you guys to expand a little bit about that without selling the farm of like everything that, you know, this guy shared on his channel. But how does the average Joe Schmo wrap their mind on what Richard's doing over at, let's face it, Hex, PulseChain, to make these pulls work where everybody gets gains, and it's just a thriving ecosystem, and it's not going to be a Doquan event, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for the reason he started PulseChain is when we created our Hex stakes on Ethereum, and 3 years later, when you ended your stake, it was like $500 at the peak of the bull market. So the gas was insane. So he created PulseChain so Hex stakers didn't have to pay insane amounts of gas. So that was the reason he did it, to help save his own people, to make so they didn't have to get destroyed on gas fees. So we have all our stakes on Ethereum. They all got copied over to PulseChain. So now we have all our value where we don't have to get raped by ETH gas fees. So with Richard Hart is one of the biggest holders of DAI in the world. Okay. He owns, I think, 15% of all the DAI on Ethereum, or at one point he did. So 15% of the pDAI, which is that DAI over there, it's copied on snapshot was taken. He already owned 15% of it. And he went around and he bought up almost all of the coins like Quant, like Jasmy, like Chainlink, like Uniswap. All of them have their copy over on it. It's just like on Polygon, you know, but these ones don't have their one-to-one value yet. Slowly, he's backing them up as he moves liquidity in. And he's one of the biggest whales in crypto. He owns more ETH than Vitalik. We don't know how much Bitcoin he owns, but I would guess it's, I would say probably at least 30 to 50,000 Bitcoin, if not more. So he needs to figure out a way to get his wealth on chain. And there's that the decentralized me videos are really good, but there is a little speculation there. So he went on to a streamer in our community, Saint Wolf, and he did 2-3 hour streams where people in the chat were asking him questions, drilling him, and he went through all the stuff. So there is another 5 hours of those videos being explained by him live, people in the chat asking questions. So there's so much information over the last year that we've been involved with this stuff. And we started watching pDAI last summer when there was speculation, and shout out to Chris from the Verse, our Gugad and our good friend. He was on blockchain doing some forensic analysis, and he found transactions that were from the PulseChain wallets with the MakerDAI contract right before PulseChain launched. So there was a big payment sent over to that team, and there's speculation that Richard Hart's actually been controlling MakerDAO ever since the CEO drowned in Puerto Rico. Now Richard is making his dream come true, but he took it to the next level and did it on PulseChain, where he could take his. So there was a sacrifice for PulseChain, and there's, I think, $600 or $700 million in our money that we sacrificed for freedom of blockchain with no expectations sitting on the blockchain. So there was a vote on PulseChain with Maker, pMaker, the MakerDAO on PulseChain, to ask the community if we should back pDAI with PulseChain and Hex and other assets, all the ones that were in the sacrifice. So now there's $650, $700 million sitting in a wallet that can instantly just go to back up that stable coin. So the liquidity is all there. He bought 30,000 ETH at like $3,700, and he typically waits, sells towards the top, and then brings it over to PulseChain and pumps everything. And now he has a way to pump it, but earn a ton of yield while he's doing it. And then it gives us the opportunity now, and we've been talking about pDAI since last summer when it was 0.00005. when you could get 1 million of them for $50, and now 1 million of them is like $16,000 or something. So right now, what GuGod has done is he created his coin. It's called Enki, and well, I'll let him describe it, but it pays you back in pDAI and Atropa and the best meme coin and the wrapped Bitcoin that Richard has brought from $10 up to $2,000 already. So just for holding that coin, doing nothing else, you get paid every single day in those coins. And then his other coin, Alien, pays you 3 other reflection coins. So you don't have to stake. You don't have to do anything. The coins sit in your wallet and you automatically get paid. And we can talk about how those yields get paid with all the bots and creating a bunch of different liquidity pairs. And then they all have very different prices. If you pair up Alien with 10 different coins, the prices are a little different. So the R bots come through and they pay the 6% tax. And then that money kind of gets put into a wallet and then gets dispersed to all the holders. So it's not like these Ponzi schemes or safe mood. Like these are legit reflection projects that are paying insane yields just for holding.
Yeah, some of them, the yield has covered people's initial investments and profits and everything else, to the point where now they don't even have to sell their initial tokens to ever make a gain again. It's pretty cool what's going on PulseChain.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
that's very impressive. Go ahead, Will.
I'm unfamiliar with what, he was talking about the reflection coins. How does a reflection coin, how does that work? Like a reflection quant coin?
So basically it works off of a tax structure. And what these reflection tokens do, basically they're tokenizing volatility. So no matter whether the price go up or the price go down, holders are being rewarded, right? So that's the main thing, and it's all based on volume. So most reflection tokens, they fail, right? Because people, they get tired of them. But the thing on PulseChain, being that we have the AMM bots that run around all day, we could pair up, like for instance PTGC, right, which is basically the biggest token on PulseChain right now that everybody's after. Everybody wants this thing, right? They have so much liquidity built up with the core Richard Hart tokens, like millions of dollars. Like it's insane the amount of liquidity that they have. So now what happens is there's constant arbitrage going on. And that means that there's constant volume going on, which means there's constant reflections that are being rewarded to the holders. So really, not only PTGC, but PulseChain has breathed life back into reflections tokens. And what I really like about reflection tokens is that I'm earning a yield just for holding them. Like, yeah, with PTGC, I can earn more if I stake it and if I lock it. With UFO, I can earn a different type of yield if I provide liquidity. But if I don't want to do all that and I just want to hold these tokens and still receive basically almost like a dividend, right? Then that's kind of what you want to do, because Warren Buffett made the majority of his wealth from investing in tickers that paid a dividend. And then all he did was compound those dividends years after years after years, to the point now where, like, nobody has outperformed him really. And it was because he's compounding his interest over so many years. So PulseChain is providing that, it's giving us the way.
Yeah. And so our friend, Coach, he launched a project on there, and I will never forget this. He came on, we did a stream together, and he said, Adam, go to Dex Tools and I want to show you something. So he had me pull up a couple pairs that he created with, one was with Hex, one was with, just the incentive token, the rewards coin you get in liquidity pairs. He had made a bunch of different pools with one of the tokens GuGod you get for holding his Alien coin. And he said, now look at the transactions. I want you to scroll down, and it shows you if it's a bot or if it's a human making the transaction. And I had to scroll down over 2 months before I found a human person that actually swapped in that pair. So these pairs were doing $500 to $1,000 in volume per day. and there was not a single human even touching them. So these guys have figured out a way to create tons of volume around all these coins, and the bots don't care if they pay the taxes. They will go and they'll pay 85 cents in taxes to make 1 cent on the at the end transaction. They don't care. So they've taken advantage of this, and I'm pretty sure it's unique to PulseChain the way this is set up. So by having all the different pairs, all of us that hold the coin, us that understand it, we don't have to sell anything. We don't need to do anything. If anything, maybe we create our own little liquidity pair that gets even more bot volume going, and that rewards everybody in the ecosystem. And all of us are working together. There's no centralized entity. There's no inflation coming out. All these coins are deflationary. They all, in that tax, in the 5 or 6% tax, a portion of it goes to buying and burning the coin. A portion of it goes to buying and auto adding to the liquidity pool. So every single transaction, a little goes to liquidity, a little goes to stakers, a little bit goes to burning it. And it's just, I've never seen anything like this. And these coins are the best performing coins on PulseChain, and there's a reason why. And Gugad learned from, just like the guys that created PTGC and UFO, which were last in 2023 in late summer. They learned from Richard Hart what he did the last 5 years, and they launched these projects. And then Gugad saw what they did and said, wow, I think if I tweak a little bit of this or give different awards, it'll be successful too. So we all learn from each other and work with each other. And it's amazing to see like a community that is just thriving. But from the outside, people say, oh my God, Richard Hart, that guy's a scammer. Da, 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 da. And it's like, dude, if you watch one of his streams, he's the farthest thing from a scammer. He's the only founder that's warning you about leverage trading, that's warning you about how dangerous this is out here. He's telling you don't trade, hodl, hold your coins for long term. You'll win that way. There's no other founders out here doing that.
Well, speaking of, the whole thing of Richard Hart, sorry, Gu, you want to go ahead?
No. I was just gonna say it creates a really good runway for developers because, like Adam was saying, once you build a good coin, you get a proper liquidity web going. You don't need human interaction anymore. That's it. The LP is that's your saving grace, right? Because the bots are going to do everything that they need to do. And for example, with PTGC, when I first got into it, that's what made me more bullish than anything. Once I figured out that no human interaction is needed for volume to be made, I was like, I'm all in, bro. And that's the type of opportunities that PulseChain is providing, not only for users, but for developers as well. Like, you can come in, even if you're not a developer, you can come in and try your hand and become a developer. I was not a developer. I was not a founder. I'm a trader. You understand? I came in, I saw the opportunity, I became friends with all of these guys, and now I'm a founder of not one project, but 3 projects, right? So, and they're all successful. So PulseChain is nothing but opportunity, man. So all this stuff that people say, oh, Richard Hart this, Richard Hart that, it's all by design, bro. When you have some amazing world-changing products, bro, the powers that be, they don't like that, and they're going to do everything in their power to stop you.
I just want to throw this out there real quick for some of you guys that are new to our space. Like, let's say this is your first time tuning in, and Gu, you've been a supporter of this channel and our community for a while. I mean, a good while. Same with Adam. These are guys that have been part of our community for not just like a couple months ago. We're talking like at least a few years, which is really cool, and I'm honored to have him on. Obviously, I've known Will for, gosh, man, like 20 plus years. But our thing is having an open mind to some of this stuff. So we want to get more into some of the questions you guys have. I'm not going to play a 20-minute clip, but we were bringing up Richard Hart, and I thought, you know what, this will be good. At this particular timestamp, take a look at this. Okay, we'll just show you what we're talking about. So again, support this brother over on his channel. We mentioned him earlier. Decentralized Me, terrific outline, terrific visuals, and so on. This part that Richard is going to share in regards to the bridge to Ethereum, some of you guys were asking about that. I'm just going to go ahead and play this small clip because it's not really long. We'll come right back. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. If you appreciate this type of content, follow these guys in this space. They deserve your support. Here we go.
Fiat and the optimal exit.
If these two prerequisites are there, I predict insanity. And these two prerequisites would be a bridge to the Ethereum network. So if there's a bridge to the Ethereum network, so you can take ERC20s and bridge them over onto the Pulse network.
Like Matic.
Like Matic, yes.
Okay.
Then, and I've got a separate team already building this pancake swap fork, which would allow you to take your bridged in ERC20s and combine them with the free copies that you got on the Pulse network. You're getting half of the yield farming for free. And then you're backing the value of the stuff that you just got for free with your bridged in ERC20s. That's sick. I mean, I think that could be the largest yield farming thing that's ever existed, because when have you ever gotten half of this pair for free? And it opens up like all the on-ramps and off-ramps. Like, you need to get in, bridge to Ethereum. You need to get out, bridge to Ethereum. And then I believe that other people will just directly support Pulse directly, right? Like, you know, if you go to dharma.io, you can send fiat in and get hex on the Matic network, which is called Polygon now, or you can get hex on the Ethereum network.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So so right there, that is so huge, because imagine if you held, you know, a 500 chain link before the snapshot, you had no idea that it was there. And in 6 months from now, you see a tweet or something that says PulseChain chain link is now more expensive than the one on Ethereum. And you see that and say, wait a minute. So you go and you look, and you now have your same bag over on PulseChain, and it's worth more than the one on ETH. Anyone that's smart, that has big bags, is going to take that position on ETH, bridge it over to PulseChain, and pair it up with each other and start earning yield on it. All these coins people have just sitting in their wallets. They don't. So I'm hearing now that the SEC has a problem with staking. When you give up your coins and you stake them, they leave your wallet. Now they're going somewhere else. That's expectation from the work of others. If you just straight delegate to a validator, much different story. So just regular proof of staking, I think, might be a security. So, you know, to earn yield on this way, and I think what Richard's going to do, and we've already seen glimpses of it, is pump Aave on PulseChain to the same prices on Ethereum, and then pump Chainlink, then pump Uniswap, then pump SHIB, and then pump Curve, then pump Ondo. Every single coin, quant, everyone that has a community on Ethereum, pump the PRC20 up to that or higher, so he can flex about it. People will come over, and now you can come bridge over and earn yield on it. And it makes so much sense. And it's game changing. And if you could, for the one comment, Jay Pormer said, most of the trading volume for PTGC and UFO comes from the AMM bots. Your capital works for you 24/7. You own the market. And over 40 liquidity pairs with $30 million in liquidity. This is not your everyday shitcoin based on hype. Hype is not needed. Just the smart contracts that only buy and sell, raising the price floor. And it's so true. This is a complete different way of looking at crypto. And Richard's really doing a good job of creating yield for people that it doesn't exist for right now. You know, you hold 10,000 ETH in a ledger. What are you going to do? Go to, Rocket Pools or somewhere and earn 3%? Well, now you could take that 3,000 ETH, bridge it to PulseChain, and pair it up with the other side, and now you start earning yield on it, risk-free.
And just to add to that, right? Some people are probably thinking right now, like, okay, I see Aave over on PulseChain. It's nowhere near the price of Aave on Ethereum. How does this happen? How do they make this reach parity? Well, there's metrics in play to make that happen. Now, I can't really get into the whole metrics of it. It's a whole nother stream. but the best way that I like to describe it is setting a table, right? And nobody is gonna set a table, lay down the cloth, put down the cutlery, serve the food, and then not sit down and eat. So what we're seeing on the blockchain, right, is pretty much they got the table and they just put down the tablecloth. Now they have to start going through the motions to start putting on the plates and the cutlery and the food and everything else. But my point is that there is things being done that we can see on the blockchain to make all of this happen. It's not a meme.
Yep. And to go on top of that too, Richard, so he introduced the Gnosis safe. Well, he was working with the Gnosis blockchain, and some of us use the Gnosis safe wallet that had Staker app before, which was just a wallet. But I heard from my friends that have projects on PulseChain that they already tried this on Gnosis chain, and using flash loans, they were able to bring all of the GRC. So Pulse chains are PRC 20 copies. Gnosis chains are GRC 20 copies. I had heard that they brought all of the GRC 20 copies right up to peg with the ones on Ethereum during a test run, and then pulled it. So they've already tested it and they did it on another blockchain already. So it's already been done. But Richard Hart is so petty and he's so cheap. Even though he's a billionaire, he's the cheapest guy in the world. He grew up poor and he's self-made. So he does not want to make people rich or make them a lot of money that don't truly believe in him. Anyone that's just here that doesn't, trash talks him and then he'll just get in and out. He's right now trying to FUD everybody out on purpose. That's part of his strategy, in my opinion. So he only rewards the true believers. And now that he's been fighting really hard for all of DeFi and crypto, saying that blockchain is freedom of speech, he's been communicating to his community through the blockchain, through actions on the blockchain, through coded messages that he's left on the vote for the maker thing. There's an entire new, it's called Dysnomia, a new ecosystem being built on PulseChain where all of us can come and mint our own tokens for free in the ecosystem. It gives you a new wallet and it has a chat platform on there so we can all communicate on the blockchain. So PulseChain is becoming like its own, I don't even know what you would call it, but it's its own banking. It's becoming its own basically Federal Reserve and free speech platform all in one with a game. We don't even know what's coming with the whole gaming part eventually. I mean, this stuff is so advanced. It's stream after stream after stream, but Gugad and I have been here. I was in Hex day one, PulseChain day one. So I've been here every day and seen all the stuff. So it's just like when Max is doing XLM or XRP research or quant stuff, you'll be going down one rabbit hole and you'll read something and be like, wait a minute, that actually has something to do with, something with the XDC network, with the partnership that they had. So so you just put all these little things together when you least expect it. And when we've been here doing this, to us, it just seems so obvious what's coming, and no matter what we say, the proof is on the blockchain. And we have real smart guys in the community that just pay attention to all that stuff. And they do a good job of letting us know what's happening on the blockchain, what this stuff means, and just dumbing it down for the average person. So it really is an opportunity unlike anything I've seen in crypto.
I just want to take a moment to allow myself and Will to inject here. So,
yeah,
Will, we've had some interesting conversations, to say the least. We talk all the time, right? He's my bro from way back and then some, right? So, Will, you brought up a while back when we were talking about Mr. Scam Bateman fraud and how he made a lot of money through arbitrage. Remember how we talk about that quite a bit?
Yeah.
Well, Vibra, Adam, brings up the whole thing of arbitrage. So the way I look at it is back to what Gu was talking about, where you have I don't know the example you guys use. I don't know if it was Aave or Maker. There's multiple examples, but where the case be, yeah. If I just tune into the stream, I'm like, what are these guys talking about? Aave is this amount, and there's this different represented value on PulseChain. Exactly. So if Will and I are talking about like how cool it would be, where if it is Quant or XRP or Stellar, crypto.com's got it for this price. Binance.us has it for, this price. KuCoin has it for this price, right? It's that arbitrage trading. But now the difference is huge on just that. These particular coins in this, apparently this ecosystem, and capitalizing on that. I mean, when we talk about real true DeFi, to me, this is DeFi on steroids. Why would I not want to be open-minded to some of this stuff? And I'm a pretty open-minded guy. I cover a lot of things that, let's face it, some people don't, want to cover. And I get it, it's all about trust. But if I'm seeing guys that are still here, like you, you've been around for a while, right? And Adam, you're sharing examples, like you say on your streams, you show your receipts, you show what's going on with your portfolio. And it's just like, you guys are making that now money. Will and I got plenty of that long-term stuff. So we want to learn more about that. Can you elaborate a little bit more, maybe Will yourself, actually, because you were asking about this? So where is it at for you? Because I know where you're coming from, Will, because we have those conversations about, man, how cool it would be, whether, like, I think you mentioned 3 commas or some of these other ones where we could do that arbitrage. But this, to me, Will, takes it to the next level. If you have Aave, which is, over, what was it, hundreds of dollars and so on. If there's one on PulseChain, the gains you can make with PulseChain are so much more significant compared to, your native Aave, your native Makers, your native Polygon Matic. Am I too far off here, Adam and Goo? Like,
Nah,
so.
bro. I mean, there is, okay, so I'm gonna give you a little alpha. There's a tremendous arbitrage opportunity available out there that a lot of people, they don't realize. I realized it from experimenting with bridging over tokens from Ethereum to PulseChain. So I tried it out. I bridged over a couple of tokens from Ethereum to PulseChain. I dumped them, right, to see what was going to happen. I went to sleep. I woke up. The prices were back at parity. I nuked the PulseChain version 40-something%, almost 50%. I woke up, it was back to parity. So I contacted a close friend of mine that I know plays these LP games. I'm like, bro, was that you that made it reach back to the peg? He said, absolutely not. I said, okay, there's cross-chain arbitrage happening here. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that people don't realize. But I mean, there's a lot going on PulseChain where it just makes sense on PulseChain. Like what's happening in these liquidity pools and everything else, it really is, truly is unique, bro. Like, I feel that all this FUD is by design, man. When you got world changing amazing things, bro, everybody wants to stop you, man.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt. Will, do you have anything you want to share on that? Because I know you and I have talked quite a bit about that concept of arbitrage and whatnot.
Yeah, my first thought is if Quant's only a few dollars on one network, and it's $100 and something on another, just an elementary question would be, well, why don't I just buy a bunch of those and
exactly, yeah. Well, the Quant and Aave, those aren't really good examples. So the Quant and the Aave, those are just copies on PulseChain that went from like nothing all the way starting to gain. Aave went to over $1 from, I bought some at like 6 cents like a long time ago. So those you just buy as like a second chance of getting into Quant at $1. If it does ever reach parity on PulseChain and you bought a bag at $1 a coin and you bought a couple hundred of them and just let them sit there, and if it does do that and it goes up to $100, you just made 100 something X. So that's just a huge potential opportunity with those. but the arbitrage is in these reflection coins that are built that pay you back passive income. The passive income is so good on them because the developers have created ways to have the arbitrage bots create a lot of volume. So the volume is what pays back the rewards on these. So it's basically the devs of each project creating so many liquidity pools. The AMM and R bots just constantly go back and forth. And because there's a tax on each time a transaction happens, a portion of it goes into a little wallet. And when the wallet gets big enough and bursts, the rewards get scattered to everybody else, basically. So it's just a way to, as us, if we want to, because we want passive income, like you want now money. And that's why with the coins that Maximus has with Enki and Alien, he's now all of a sudden starting to see just from holding these other coins just are showing up in my wallet and I don't have to do anything. So that's the whole point of these coins, is to pay passive income. And when people say, well, I don't understand how this works, well, the developers are so smart on PulseChain. They figured out ways to create that volume for you so no one has to trade. We can just sit around, and because people aren't greedy and they're like GoGod is the man. When he makes some money or does something or has some fees, he, instead of taking them and cashing them out and spending them, he takes them and he goes and adds to his wrap Bitcoin and Alien pool and adds a little bit to it. And as they get thicker, the bot volume increases more. So because he's not greedy and spending that money on himself and it goes back into his project, it benefits everybody. And it's there's so many people like that on PulseChain that listen to the way Richard Hart preaches the way crypto is done and taken that and put that into the projects on PulseChain. And you really are starting to see the ones that do that have just gone to a whole nother level. And I mean, it really is awesome to just get, with GoGod's coin, I've gotten almost like 0.04 wrapped Bitcoin. If that goes to parity to $100,000, I just made on that, I made $4,000 if I sold it at the top there, just for my reflection. I didn't even touch my principal, just for my little reward portion. And that's the stuff that there's no opportunities like that in crypto.
And that's just one of the reward tokens that you earn.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of earn, you didn't have to do this, but thank you, my friend. The $50 super chat. Back to you.
Nah, yeah, this round's on me, bro. I feel like we were just friends in the bar for a minute. I was listening to Adam talk. I was like, oh yeah, bro, this round's on me, man.
Thank you so much, sir. Back to you, Will, or Adam, whoever wants to take it.
And then the other awesome opportunity with pDAI is just right now, it's already gone from 5 zeros and nothing. You could buy 1 million of them for $50 to where the price is now at over $0.01. Well, GoGod's coin Enki also pays you back pDAI. So for holding that, you're not only getting the wrap Bitcoin, you're getting the future stable coin that's going to be $1, in my opinion, on PulseChain. So you're getting them right now, and they're worth, $0.015. So each one of those you get in 6 months to 8 months, they'll be closer up to $1. So if you get 5 a day, yeah, right now it's 5 cents a day, but in the future that'll be $5 a day, and everyone moving forward will be worth $1. So there's other coins too that have been built. One's called Die Hard, and when you buy that coin and you hold it, it's just nonstop reflections of pDAI too. So we're earning the stable coin that, in my opinion, is going to be $1 in the future right now. So, I'm getting a couple hundred of them a day, if not more, when the volume is high on the pair. And since the liquidity pair that is bonded to a lot of these coins, as pDAI moves up towards $1, the price of Hex is going to start to go up. The price of PulseChain is going to start to go up, and Enki and Alien, because they have big liquidity pools with pDAI. If it goes to $1, all the coins in the ecosystem are going to go up like 40, 50x just because they're paired with it. So there's so many cool things happening on PulseChain. It's like, it's so many streams to understand it all, but the opportunities here. And the cool thing is all these contracts are renounced. No one can touch them. And a lot of them have locked and burnt liquidity, so no one can come and rug pull the liquidity. I mean, they're so scam proof. They are set up to pay rewards forever and to constantly add liquidity. So in the future, if a ton of people cash out, when they sell, a big portion of that or a little portion of that will go back to replenish the liquidity. So it's not like you're going to have a bunch of people holding bags with no liquidity. They're designed so where everybody will be able to exit. There'll be enough liquidity there. And then the system's kind of reset for the next cycle. I mean, this stuff is so awesome. And it's the same like FUD and struggle that we see in the Richard Hart community that the XRP community just went through since 2020. So it's almost like if you were in the XRP army and dealt with the SEC stuff and all the terrible the streamers laughing at it and the influencers criticizing it and making fun of it, that's the same thing we're dealing with over here. So it's like, obviously they're scared of that stuff. You would never, I don't hear any of those guys making fun of Luna Classic and Dogecoin or shit because they suck. They're going nowhere. They're making fun of these coins because they know they're the threats to the garbage they're shilling or they are, deep into.
Will, I know that you were wanting to inject earlier. You got some questions?
Oh, I was, I guess I need to check out the platform. Does your guys' platform have, the performance record of what you choose from and so on?
What do you mean?
If you're getting rewards paid on Hex and it's got a percentage there that it tells you what's the current percentage, or is that individualized some kind of way?
Oh, yeah. You could, there's a website that shows you every day what the payout was for that day. So say you bought $500 worth and you staked it for 5 years and you got 2.4 T shares. Every day you would say, oh, the payout today was 7. So times that by my 2.4, I got like 15.2 Hex today. So you can calculate it basically in your head, but there's all people in the community have built websites for that stuff. And for like Gugad's coins, you can go and paste your wallet into his website and it shows you exactly how much you've earned of all the different reward coins, which is kind of cool too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you could do the same thing on with PTGC. You can go to the website and you got everything there. And there's community built websites as well where they show just a lot of different metrics. It's really cool.
Very cool. Listen, you guys, I know you're wanting to brag on this at some point. I know you want to, and that is Titan X. Will brought up the whole thing about percentages and whatnot. Adam, and last time we did a stream together, right? I can't believe it's been over a couple months. The time has flown by so quick, right?
Yeah.
But you were showing some real awesome things in regards to Titan X. So I don't know if you have something like that you want to bring up just as an example for myself, Will, just the community overall. We'd be glad to share that with you. Before he brings that up, something I just want to show you guys for another example. Again, back to, like how this stuff works like magic. Shout out to Decentralize Me. By all means, give him a follow. I'm just going to play like roughly, I don't know, like 2 minutes of this just to give you guys a little bit more of a heads up without like, playing like a 20 minute long video. I think this is great with what he has. So look at this. We were talking about pDAI, that distribution and so on. It speaks for itself. So I'm just going to go ahead and full screen this real quick. We'll come right back while Adam's pulling up what he has. Here we go.
So what about DAI holders who got free copies at the time of the fork? Well, they too will have a decision to make. Do I stick around on this chain, which is mooning, that has all of my favorite tokens on at a massive discount and the transaction fees are minuscule? Or am I a total pussy and want to bridge out immediately? This decision will split the crowd. Never in the history of markets have 100% of the participants made the same decision. Let's look at what happens to those who decide they want to make lots of money. They are met with all the core coins mooning, as well as their favorite tokens from Ethereum at an enormous discount. They could choose to buy those coins, or they could choose to pair their holdings and provide liquidity in farms on PulseX and earn yield whilst their assets moon as more and more liquidity bonds ERC20s with PRC20s. pDAI holders who decided to stay and make more money will now have another route to exit, as eDAI holders have provided liquidity between PRC20s and eDAI and or other ERC20s. They can swap into any of these assets and then bridge out. I will now share with you what I believe to be the optimal way for the whole community to exit. First, we swap pDAI into core coins. Then we sit back and watch as they move. Then we'll find ourselves in a terrible position where our bags are so enormous, we're worried about the available liquidity. And at this point, instead of swapping into ERC20s on PulseChain or bridging out then swapping into Ethereum, we can deposit our assets into pMaker, minting ourselves pDAI. Should you deposit 150% of assets and the price of the collateral immediately dropped and you were liquidated, you would have just exited into a stablecoin for only a 33% slippage. And as you won't have interacted with liquidity pools, you won't have hurt the chart. I think this is how Richard wants us to exit. Look at this trade that took place in January. Someone sold $5 million worth of Pulse, and they did so by doing this exact process with liquid loans, whose protocol works in a very similar way to MakerDAO. They liquidated themselves, exiting a large trade with minor slippage, whilst choosing not to hurt the Pulse chart. Was this Richard leaving us another breadcrumb? It always struck me as a strange trade for a whale to make in January whilst Pulse was at the lows. And once you have exited into pDAI with minor slippage, you might find the value of your collateral has increased, meaning you can mint more pDAI, reducing your slippage further. You now have an enormous amount of pDAI. What do you do at this point? Where do you go? Well, my question to you is, why leave? You're now a whale on what will be the largest decentralized blockchain in the world. There are opportunities to earn yield everywhere. Why not take advantage of them? Get paid levels of yield and interest that you won't find in any real world assets, and live off that. Bridge the yield out. And as Richard said earlier, over time, there will be direct off-ramps. This strategy is optimal as there is no interaction with liquidity pools, so you can exit large positions with low slippage. You encourage the price to continue going up as you haven't affected the chart. You are supporting all the protocols on PulseChain, making PulseChain more attractive to other investors, therefore creating even more demand, all whilst earning higher returns than you'll find in real-world assets. So, back to our plan. First, there will be a poll. This will have a 2-week deadline. This is a written document with no code. The purpose is to illustrate that there is support for paving the way to pegged pDAI. Should there be support for the poll, and in this time we hope we will have suggested to us the optimal code to implement from Richard or his team. We also hope Richard himself votes in favour of the poll. Once it's complete, we'll move on to an executive vote. This will have no time limit on it, so Richard can choose when to pass it and implement the code. Here is a screenshot from the front end that we are developing. And there is Richard's vote to take over pMaker. For our proposal to pass, we need Richard to vote, as he is the only holder with enough votes. The executive vote will only pass once it has more votes than the existing proposal. Richard will maintain control over the timing of the peg. Richard, you launched with pDAI having a logo when other assets didn't. You told us there would be a MakerDAO replacement, so we would have DAI on PulseChain. You never shill projects that are not your own, and you've shilled pDAI not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times, even posting the chart. You told us you were planning to release a stablecoin backed by crypto. You sent 300 million pDAI to the SENS Foundation. You highlighted DAI that one time. We saw it. You put a wallet that could only be yours at the center of the efforts to take over MakerDAO and PulseChain. You minted the extra supply directly from addresses found within the PulseChain GitLab. You pumped the OA bags to the amount required to over-collateralize pDAI. Then you told us how you did it. You momentarily released farms to show us what's coming. You showed us how effectively you're able to maintain a peg through arbitrage. You bought Ethereum with the sacrifice funds everyone was tracking, literally making the trade DAI to Ethereum. You minted the Pulse and PulseX supply by moving your Hex OA bags into the sacrifice address, illustrating how moving OA supply from one address to another can create money that previously didn't exist. The exact move required to peg pDAI. You made a sacrifice for the freedom of speech, movement, and assembly, telling us you'll reward people with similar political beliefs. You've told us to ask. Richard, I hear you. I understand what to do. I've never felt so close to you.
All right, the next part I'm not going to play because he gets too crazy with being out on the beach with Richard and whatnot. Hey, listen, guys, listen, all right? Listen, I understand that you don't think I'm aware that if I mention Hex, that I'm going to take some heat for this. I'm fully aware of that. I've been aware of that for a while. But my thing is, there's other people in the community that's really done well. They've been around for not just a couple months now and done a quick hi, bye, see you later, and we never hear from them again. We're talking about a project that's been around for a few cycles. And yeah, Adam is right. Has taken the hits just like the XRP community has. They are not immune to the attacks of Gary Gensler and the SEC. Been there, done that. My thing is, there is real money to be made now, clearly. And, basically Goo's been doing it. Here's the thing. I have not seen these guys just show up and leave. They're consistently here, and you guys are thriving. You don't have to convince me. I've already seen it. I watch you guys' streams, or I'll listen. I'll be driving down the road, and I'm learning. And what I've learned is, you know what? I'm going to have an open mind to some of that stuff, and I get it. I'm going to lose some people due to that. That's okay. It's back to what our conversations in the past. Sometimes you can't, you can't just, not give a crap? Like, sometimes you got to give a little bit, but not to the point where you got to, come on, man. Like Jasmine, you know how many times I took heat for covering Jasmine in the past? People used to say that's a scam. My God, that's on when we went to almost 6 cents. What was that? Like a 25, 30x or something like that since Binance US. So, we research the ones that do things, and apparently this is a better version of Ethereum. I know a lot of you guys don't like Ethereum, but tweaked out. You don't have according to Adam, you don't have the crazy gas fees that native ETH has and so on. But I don't know. I'm trying to be open-minded to it. I'm trying to look more into it. Again, none of it's financial advice. Nobody's telling you what to buy. We're just sharing research with you guys. Do as you please with it. So I don't know who wants to take it. Will, Goo, Vibra, Adam.
I said what I said in the comments, right? Everybody reading that comment and everybody listening to my voice right now, you will be in PulseChain. You will bridge to PulseChain. You will own probably pDAI, Teddy Bear, PTGC, Anki, Alien, UFO. You will own one of these tickers. You understand? It's just everybody gets the price that they deserve. You understand? This is DeFi. This is a future. You understand? This is something that, people are winning on. And my dev is the most wanted, bro. You understand? Not everybody can say that the dev is the most wanted. My dev is the most wanted, bro, and the most hated. And you know what? It is what it is, right? When you have when you have amazing world-changing products, bro, this is just the trials and tribulations that you go through, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this comment real quick. This is from, I think we read this earlier, but it's still, let's pound it home a little more. Over
Oh, yo,
40
but
liquidity
and then on
pairs.
top of
Yeah.
that, bro, on top of this comment right here, all of this is burnt liquidity. So nobody has access to this liquidity. The only way you have access to this liquidity is if you own the tokens.
Yeah, that's another thing that impressed me. It was like, unlike meme tokens where we're trying to, I understand that token sniffer is not the end all be all, right? But, in the past, we would go through token sniffer and be like, does it at least mention ownership renounced? And then, like Adam has shown me things, Adam, like, with Titan X. I mean, I guess we could pull that up, here in a bit, but ownership renounced on quite a few things other than just that. So many things in the ecosystem. That definitely impresses me,
Fully decentralized, bro. That's what Richard Hart has taught us to do. Admin keys suck. They're not good. You understand? Build a fully decentralized product. That's what PTGC is. That's what UFO is. That's what Alien is. That's what Enki is. That even X, right? There's another token, X, that I'm very bullish on. These are all post-chain tickers. All of these tickers will do well just because of how they're paired with all of the core tokens of PulseChain that have millions of dollars backing it, that have Richard Hart, one of the richest people in the world, backing it. People can say what they want to say about him, but these are all facts. So it's like sometimes you just got to just look past what's in front of you and just look beyond that, look through that, and risk it for the biscuit. Like, you know what I mean?
Brisket biscuit. I want to show you guys something real quick. So Richard Hart, if you guys, I don't know, some people are just tuning in. So, and by the way, you guys rock. We have a pretty decent crowd. This is new stuff that we haven't talked about, at least on my platform, for at least a couple years or more, maybe almost 3 years. So, Will, myself, whether it's on X, YouTube, combined, yeah, 460 or 406 on the combined. You guys, you're awesome. It tells us that you're willing to, be open minded. And again, nobody's telling you what to do. You don't want to get in Hex, don't get in Hex. Don't get in PulseChain, don't get into it. Just sharing info. People kind of getting bent out of shape in the comments, but it is what it is. I'm going to share
Adam
what I
used to
feel
show me
like I'm going
Hex
to
all the
share.
time, bro. Adam used to show me Hex every single day. And when he went on his 20-minute daily rant, I would just black out, bro, and just completely blank out. Until one day it completely clicked, dude. And I bought Hex. And you know what? It was the very bottom, too. And that's why I always say, yo, you get the price that you deserve, right? So it's like everybody's going to eventually own Hex, bro. Everybody gets in at the price they deserve.
So my point out to Adam and also Will and everybody else is like, I've seen this. I see it all the time. Meme communities, some of them can be kind of like meme snobs. Utility communities, oh, don't get into the memes. Okay, utility snob. There could be a certain coin where you need to be a maxi only in that coin. Okay, that becomes cultish. I am an investor at first, period. I didn't get my MBA with an entrepreneurship emphasis just to join one club. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? I got to be open-minded. Yes, I don't want to jump into something obviously is going to be a blatant rug pull and so on. I've seen the comments and so on, and it's okay. You know what? God bless that guy. He left. It is what it is. It's what comes with the territory. I'm good with it. But my point is, go ahead.
But bro, I mean that's fine, right? That's warranted. But something like PTGC that has already been around for a year and a half and has proved its legitimacy through longevity and is doing nothing but benevolent things, and then has a whole ecosystem built around it that has been nothing but benevolent since their inception. I mean, come on, you got to give that some credit too.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And dude, that guy was mad. He's saying you can't chart PulseChain. Go to gopulse.com, go to dexscreener.com, go to coinmarketcap.com. PulseChain's on every one of them. Like, what do you mean you can't chart it? Like, what?
But the thing is, too, is that PulseChain is basically like shadow banned and gate kept, and we don't get the right rankings on nothing. No, we can't chart it right on certain platforms and stuff. So I can get that, but like I said, when it's the number one and they don't want it to be the number one, they're gonna keep fighting it until it gets to the point where it's just like you can't beat them, then join them, and then this thing goes nuts.
You want to talk about manipulation? You want to talk about it not being charted right? I talked about this with Adam earlier, and a lot of people recognize this as well. I literally, we had a conversation about this. Look at this. We're going to full screen this. You want to talk about there's some issues where, originally CZ back in the day, right, with Binance, I understand is a different position now, but whatever the case be, this is ranked 3071. I understand we could reference other things, but look at market cap 7.54 billion. All right. Well, geez.
I mean, if you go to the top 100 and go look where 7.5 billion is.
Well, I've done it before. Adams, it should be ranked like 25th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
exactly.
Look at that. Yep. Right below Litecoin. It should be right in that area. Yep. But it's not. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't get the eyeballs on it. That's manipulation. Any way you want to look at it. If you're doing proper rankings, and I've seen this with other projects, it's not just Hex, right? Like there's other projects where they won't properly rank it. This is clearly a top 25 project, period. Mm-hmm. Again, more of the research. That's why these shows are called Do Your Own Research, not just with me, Will, Adam, Goo, you name it. We share this with you guys. It's up to you to, if you want to get into it. No one's saying you got to get into anything. Well, if you're showing this, you're telling me what to do with my money. I ain't telling anybody what they're doing with their money. It's always
I always tell everybody, bro, don't buy this. Don't buy none of this. Please don't. Just put it on your watch list. Just put it on your watch list and watch how it performs and do a little bit of research and get a little background, and don't just listen to what everybody's saying. Do your own due diligence, and usually works out better.
Well, not only that, I mean, people will say, well, what about like, how did it do in the market? Like, again, I'm not trying to make it political. I mean, whoever you voted for is who you voted for, right? But anyway, like, all right, let's check out like what it did, basically. Let me full screen this. Do we have something representative of, like, yeah, exactly. Look at this. Right during election time. Hold on. It does move also, just like with everything else. So here's the thing. Are we oblivious to the whole thing that this won't do anything after Trump is, election day? Gensler's out on election day, inauguration day. Gensler is out on inauguration day. Hopefully, God, if that weasel still sticks around somehow, I'm going to be, I don't know. But anyway, so, the market could crash and bleed. And, Will and I, we talked about this. We're like, we're not even worried about it, because it's like, if it pulls back, maybe accumulate more of what we have or don't have and so on. So, obviously Gensler went after XRP. This you can see, and I'm just looking at it from the perspective of when I look back at that thing about pDAI and what Richard Hart's trying to do in regards to that peg, and the goal of everybody's going to win from that. I said to myself, well, before I learn more, I'm like, is he like a dictator in that regard? No, that's the beauty of governance, right? Like you have a vote, yeah. It has to be passed. Yeah. Why are we so oblivious to that? Anyway.
Yep. And that's the thing. Right now it's at, a penny and a half. If you think there's a 10% chance it can go to $1 and you put $100 into it and it does a 50x and you sell it 75 cents. Now you have $5,000, and then you rotate that into Hex or PulseChain and you do a 5x. Now you have $25,000 from $100. And what's the downside of that $100? I mean, it's a no-brainer, and if people understand it, you'd be flocking to it. But that's why very few people, 1%, make it in crypto, because it's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I do want to recognize the super chat that came in. Let's see here. It came from a few of you guys, which I do appreciate. So let's see. Just go down for just a brief moment. Recognize that, because I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like the right thing to do. So Another thing I want to point out is, like, I used to think, I'm like, are you talking about like UFO gaming from like Ishmart? Totally different things, right? So I don't want to
Yo,
confuse
we
some of that.
flipped that UFO as a matter of fact. Bro, I never thought I was gonna see that day. But UFO on PulseChain, right? It completely just demolished UFO on Ethereum. And I never thought that was gonna happen. And not only did it just crush it on everything, it crushed it with liquidity as well. So it's like, bro, when I saw that, and I always joke around with my friends and I say, at the end of the day, UFO on PulseChain is probably going to have the best chart in all of crypto ever, better than Bitcoin, because the retracements aren't going to be as rough. And they laugh and they say, yeah, okay. I said, all right, give it 5 years, bro. Let's come back to it at 5 years and look at that chart. Because the way that it's set up now in its infancy, it's like an up only thing, bro. Not financial advice. Just put it on your watch list and just watch it. UFO is an absolute beast.
Yeah, no doubt. The chat got all messed up or something. I don't know if it's because you guys were, moderating or something, but basically, I'll just share it on the other screen real quick. Was it this person? Yeah, real quick. It says, thanks. At least want to recognize on this screen. So it might not come across on StreamYard. But yeah, this person says, thanks, Goo and Adam, for all the alpha. When you come to PulseChain, make sure you own Alien, Enki, Alien X, don't fade Goo. So thank you so much for that super chat. Actually, it might have been, maybe it was over on your platform, Will. I don't know. Maybe that's why it didn't show up on mine. But whatever the case be, we do thank you. And then on top of that, I didn't see this one come up, but I want to recognize you. Commando Spawn, do y'all believe XLM will ever have an ETF? I think that is more than possible. Absolutely. So I do appreciate you guys with the super chats. You guys rock. And basically, do you guys want, we have a moment to share some of that Titan X on screen? Oh, you got some of that, Adam? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I could pull it. Yeah, I could pull it up because, like, that's the thing. So Titan X, people got, that's just the UFO chart. Hold on.
Right.
So Titan X came out last summer in 2023, and you had to use ETH. Fairly launched, no VCs, no pre-sales, nothing. It's hyper deflationary, fully community owned, and it's basically Richard Hart, the founder, got a lot of inspiration from Richard. And this project, right, you had to take your ETH and you could use your ETH, and you could, depending on how long you did, you got more for doing it longer. So all the supply that came out,
The
ETH
mining
went into it.
protocol.
Yeah, exactly. And now there's in the Ethereum buy and burn right now, there's 4,400 ETH. So there's $16 million in this buy and burn that's going to be used to buy and burn Titan X. And there's already been, on top of Titan X, now 31 projects that have been built. And a lot of these are now burning Titan X. All of these here. The Moat 1 Shogun is taking 0.3% of the supply off the market every day with the way it works. It's basically a giant, those R bots we were talking about, they're doing that with Shogun, and it's just incredible. So it's burning so much supply off of the market. So right now, Titan X, 54% of the supply has been burnt, and 0.3% a day is getting. So you think, another 100 days, this is going to be at 80%, and it's going to be wild while having $16 million to market buy and keep burning it. Like, this is about to get crazy. And this was all built because Richard Hart's principles, and people were just getting scammed and just sick of the nonsense going on. So when you have all these people come together, we helped build Morpheus. This was myself and Rags to Riches, and Goo God helped with it. And our project, same thing. You had to use Dragon X, which is Titan X's biggest liquidity pair, sister project. We've now burnt 12.6% of our supply, and this has been out for 2 months. So this is going to start to really do well. And this has $440,000 in the buy and burn that's going to keep buying and burning Morpheus and Titan X. So these things are they're really cool. There's a whole list of projects here that do all kinds of different stuff. But again, these are like hyper deflationary coins that I think are going to do crazy numbers. And GuGod, Alien X is his project here. So he set up liquidity pools with a bunch of different pairs, and he's bridging it over to PulseChain. And that's another goal of mine and a couple other people, is to really bridge the Titan X community over to PulseChain so we can all kind of come together and have like this super DeFi community. And Titan X just came off a really pretty big dip. So now's the time, in my opinion, to load up the truck. That's what I'm doing myself. But yeah, what do you think, Goo?
Yeah, I've been loading up too, because the MACD just kind of just stopped getting bearish, and now it's pretty much to the point where it's gonna start flipping bullish, and the tails are pegged at the bottom on my LARSI that I use. So it's a really good time to start speculating over there. Like Adam said, I got my own project over there, Alien X. It's pretty cool. It has a 2% tax on it. It burns the token. That's basically all it does with the tax. And already almost 40% of the supply has been burnt. So it's pretty cool. The biggest liquidity pairs are with Titan X itself, Inferno, which is part of the Titan X ecosystem, and Morpheus. So yeah, so what we got, like an arbitrage thing going on over there, almost like a Hart's law effect over there as well. I like to call it Titan's law. But yeah, it's just going through its growing pains right now, just like everything else. But yeah, that's kind of the times where I like to speculate, So these are good things. Like I said, you don't got to buy none of this stuff. Just put it on your watch list and just watch how it performs. And they work good. It's not like, this is not scammy, sketchy, vaporware or nothing like that. This is a bunch of legit builders came together, and they're just really nerds, bro. You know what I mean? They're all a bunch of nerds just wanting to build cool stuff and build better stuff and constantly innovate. So I'm just happy to be part of the ecosystem.
Yep, good stuff.
Very cool. Well, is there anything else you guys want to maybe get into or discuss? Will, you have any questions that are on your mind in that regard? Actually, I think real quick, Will, before we restate that, the other thing was, I think, Adam, you had some people in your community that you were stating that what they did was they were able to earn yields on a lot of this stuff, and then get reach their goals for things like XRP, moving into blue chips and whatnot. But
yeah,
I don't know if you want to
GuGod's
elaborate.
the king of that. Yeah, he's been
all right.
crushing the trading with like Stronghold and Velo and building his XRP bags while even just having his DCAs. He crushes that.
Yeah, bro, I love these tokens, man. These like Jasmine, Stronghold, Velo, Clearpool, and they, I'm a meme coin trader, so I'm used to being very quick and being able to notice trends and momentum and stuff like that, when it starts, when it stops. And I use these indicators that a lot of people do not have access to them, and they give me a real big leverage on the game. So I've been able to basically triple all my bags in this stuff. Then I got bored and started just buying XRP, and I was like, I don't even want XRP, so I started buying a whole bunch of Sologenics down when it was 10 cents. So yeah, I've been doing very well with these utility tokens that you guys talk about, bro. I love them.
Right on. I just looking for the perspective of, there's something here, but Will, you have anything you want to,
No, I've been looking, my with this XRP and XLM and taking off, all these coins that have taken off, man. My amount of money that I have in it is, a lot. It's a lot of money for me, and so I've been looking at yield, because it's like you're wasting your time and you're giving up gains that you could have if you don't have some form of DeFi. And I was looking at some people. I was watching what's his name, Cyper X, and he's always talking DeFi. And but then he got involved in some project and lost $500,000. And I'm like, no, I'm not looking to do that.
Yeah, no, not definitely not. So really, to be honest with you, bro, I love yield, and I am a yield chaser. Where I'm getting all of my yield from right now is on PulseChain.
Yeah.
And not only from holding, these reflection tokens, but also from providing liquidity, because you earn fees for providing liquidity through PulseX. So these have been my yield generators, and there's a yield farm on PulseX as well, and you can earn an incentive token. Is called Ink. And yeah, once I got exposed to all of that, bro, I started playing with it with little amounts of money, and I seen how it performed, and I just started, putting more capital slowly into it, to the point where now that is like my end all be all. When I'm done and I want to stable up and I'm going into farms to just earn yield for the bear market, it will be 50% in PulseChain and 50% in Saucer Swap, bro, because that's where the yield is.
That's crazy yield, man.
And maybe some RLUSD.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, this stuff is awesome, man. It's a cool opportunity where you can buy into one token and then you earn 4 of them in reflections, and then you take your reflections tokens that you earned, your pDAI and your Tropa, they're bonded together, so they move identical on the chart. You throw them into a liquidity pool, and now you're earning on your one coin is providing you 2 sources of passive income on one coin, and you can't do better than that.
Wow.
And Adam, real quick, just for some of the new people and whatnot, this is going to get asked. I think Will, you actually asked this. Like, what's the minimum as far as like lockup? What's the obviously
Nothing.
if you lock it up? Okay.
So that's Hex. Hex's staking is much different, but with these coins here, so say I bought some of some Enki, and with that I got back some pDAI and a Tropa. I would go here and I would go to trade liquidity, and I would go down and create an Enki or a DAI and a Tropa pool, which I already have one. So I would start one right there. And the one coin that you have, the Hex LP coin, that automatically gives you LP in the Hex pool. So just for holding Hex LP, you get automatic yield position in here. And now I can leave this and it'll slowly earn a tiny bit of the fees. Or I could pull it out and have this 1,000 Hex sitting in my wallet. And this is just from holding one coin. And it's going to consistently grow in here over time. So it's one coin now giving me 2 coins, and now I'm earning on those 2 coins. There's nothing like it.
Bro, you just opened my mind up here. I didn't even realize that I could be doing that, because what I've been doing is I've just been compounding my rewards so I get more rewards, right? But I could take them and now start LPing them. I didn't even realize that, bro. Oh, that is a game changer for me. Thank you.
And that's why Sonny's stuff and his ecosystem is so cool. His reflection tokens, because they put your rewards automatically into the LP pools. So when you want to claim them, you actually have to pull them out of the LP pools, which is awesome, because if you leave them there for a couple months, they're gonna be up 1% or 2%.
Learn something new every day, man. That's the power of PulseChain, bro. Let's go.
I am going to read this real quick. Maybe people don't want me to read this. It's okay. This guy says, I know better than that. You're going to hoe down on the yield scam road. Seriously, after all you teach your people. Here's the thing. I used to have about 15 million Luna Classic over on KuCoin. Okay. And I had that there for probably over a year or plus. And I walked away because I had to, right? They told everybody to get off of there if you're, from American IP. And basically I walked away with about 5 million off of that yield. And that's on that platform at their particular rates and whatnot. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of, well, what about other platforms? Why not just have an open ear to it? At the end of the day, it's like this, Kev or whoever else is listening. All right. No knock on you. Whatever. You don't agree with it? Hey, it's okay. You're not hurting my feelings any. But the way I look at it is basically like this. Why have your eggs all in one basket? Will could vouch for this. Will, you do 3 commas. When I was over at your place, you were showing us, over there, like, the market was just doing ripping, right? Absolutely ripping. Man, my lamp is getting hot over there. That's crazy. I might have to shut that off. Yeah, it's starting to talk about Luna Classic and Burns, and wow, there goes the light. All right. Anyway,
You can
that was
hear it.
kind of crazy. Yeah, it just was sizzled and went boom. I guess I'm talking about stuff that we shouldn't be talking about, right?
Well,
Talking about the bad
that-
juju or whatever. That's
that
insane.
that
Anyway,
that comment is so stupid too, because it's going everything you get, it's with the yield farm. It's a reward coin. You didn't buy that coin, you dumb. You bought a different coin, and it's your free coins that you're getting are going into a pool so you can earn more on your free coins. Like, do you not understand how this works? Clearly he doesn't. He's just being an idiot because he doesn't get it. He couldn't
He
find the
just doesn't.
PulseChain
He just
chart.
wants to be
And-
difficult. That's all it is.
yeah.
He wants to
I hear
troll.
you guys. I mean, at the same time,
Yeah.
let's
It's
keep it
PulseChain,
silly.
bro. We're used to this stuff. That's
Oh
why
yeah,
I
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are for a while. But what I'm saying is, the way I look at it is, I have already done a little bit of trying to earn yield. I've done. How about this? All right, let's just actually just remove this for a second. Let's just all have some real talk. Clearpool, for crying out loud. If it wasn't me trying to learn about yield, I never would have gotten to Clearpool. Why did I get into Clearpool to begin with? That was the first cryptocurrency I ever covered, by the way, on this channel. Over 50 videos, right? Over 100% APY. I could have had attitude like, oh, that's a giant scam. And look at where they're at now. Actually, if you want to talk about projects, of all the projects we talk about, myself, Will, and so on, XRPs, your Jasmines, everything, Clearpool has done the most amount of X's, right? So originally, KuCoin had over, I don't know if it was 100% or 120%. I know it's at least 100% APY. Well, that's at Clearpool, sitting at roughly 80 to 80 cents to $1, right? Of course, bear market hit, crypto winter. That thing crashed all the way to roughly a penny. My last bag was 2 cents. So I did over a 27x on my last bag, right? Well, yeah, they got rid of the whole thing of stake and Clearpool over there, but you could still go to Clearpool mainnet and lock that up and make yields. You're not going to get these particular yields. My point is, I'm always going to pay attention to yields. Doesn't mean that everything necessarily is a scam, right? And that's the bottom line I'm just trying to get into, is it's just recognizing some of that.
Well, Clearpool could keep
yeah.
scamming me, bro, because I've never had a bad day in Clearpool, bro.
Oh, it's terrific. You're providing, like I use this with Adam. I said, what interests, I'll be honest with you guys, what interests me about this whole thing of Hex and PulseChain and TitanX and all this stuff is, I said to Adam, I think this is a fair analogy. If Clearpool, I should say, if Clearpool is supplying VCs, right? Like clearly a solution where there's lending, whatever the case be, these VCs need to get funds, but they're not going to do the traditional method, because traditional method says, you got to put up a bunch of collateral, right? So they provide a real solution to that. Okay, then I'm looking at the whole thing of Hex and PulseChain and whatnot, and I'm like, good Lord, this is just like Clearpool, but like on steroids. Like, why wouldn't I want to have an open mind to some of that? And it is what it is. At the end of the day, you can please some of the people some of the time, most of the people most of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. And it's okay. All right. God bless the guy. You don't like me no more. It's all right. There's a lot of people don't like me anymore. Hey, I have thick skin.
Yeah.
Literally, look at me. I'm a pretty fat dude with thick skin. I'm gonna get over it. So anyway, I think we're gonna come close to maybe winding things down. Will, do you have any other questions? Goo, do you
No,
guys have
I
anything you want to share, Vibra?
was thinking, you know, I own bail bond companies in 27 counties in Tennessee. And, you know, the risk of, you know, you're getting people out of jail, you know, and you're putting money up to get them out of jail. And the amount of liability in this business is tremendous. And I had tons of people trying to FUD out on, you know, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And, but yet God's blessed me tremendously in that business. And when I hear people fudding out, you know, like, I don't believe you've ever said, this guy said for 4 years or for however many years, you know, it's against all you said. You've never spoken against DeFi or earning yield that I know of. Have you, Max?
No, no, because if anything, I'll be a hypocrite because I have earned, like I'm earning yield as we speak on my crypto.com DeFi wallet on, you know, for a few different projects. I don't really mention some of these ones because what is it? VVS Finance hasn't really done that well, but I've done very well in the past with crypto.com's Crow for native staking, of course, on Crow. But then I moved it over, of course, to the DeFi wallet. Why? Because for a while, it used to be where it was like literally double on that yield. Well, that's yield, but that's more centralized.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's only okay to do centralized. Give me a break. You know what I mean?
In one of my show, the banks are out, man. It's going to go to brokers, in my opinion. The banks have been ripping us off for years. They're investing into high money, paying us just little tiny percentages, like, you know, like we're just some kind of a rat, and we're happy to get a tiny piece of cheese. And now DeFi is coming along, and decentralized, where the people, you know, can have the power of their own investments and make what the banks have been making. You know, they've been making tremendous yields, you know, unless they go with the treasury, you know, which I think is a joke. I think the whole treasury thing and the, you know, paying 6-7%, or if you look at CDs, what a freaking joke. I mean, I can trade option contracts, throw money in the stock market. There's all kinds of ways I can beat what the banks pay. And the bank tried to tell me, say, well, you got an awful lot of money in your checking account. Why don't you put it in this money market fund, and you can earn, you know, 3%. And I was like, my God, people, that just takes it off your books. No, I took all of my money out of the banks, and all I have in there is to run business. And DeFi is the way of the future. It's the banking of the future. There's not going to be a need for a bank when people can be their own banks. In fact, I believe the banking industry will change, and they'll soon be where you go to a bank and there's a counter, and people will be on the other side being a broker for you in DeFi. You know, it's just going to be the way of the future, because all this other stuff is dead, and the banks have been raping us for years. That's what I think.
Great,
100%.
Perspective. And you know, I'm glad. This is what I love about Will. He's got great analogies. You got his way of explaining things of only the way he does it, brother. And I really appreciate that. And that's why I'm glad to have you part of the panel to, you know, look into some of these things. So again, like, I don't know. And again, I'm not picking on anybody. That's not the point. We're just sharing some things. And my main thing is, you know, don't have all your eggs in one basket, obviously. Will has done, well, you got like the premium version of 3 commas, for example. So he clearly has this long-term investments. He clearly has his ones that he's doing with 3 commas, for crying out loud. Like, no one's saying that you have to give up all your long-term to do some of this stuff. You know, maybe throw a small percentage of whatever you're currently doing at maybe some of these things and to experiment. I would never tell anybody, hey, dump all your XRP and put it in here, or whatever the case be. That is not the case. If you're interpreting,
it's got to be new money.
Yeah, right.
It's got to be fresh money. I wouldn't even say swap any of the stuff you hold long term. If you've held that coin and you believe in it, don't do that. Wait until, you know, go do something and make $50, $100, and then put that in when you can afford to. Don't be selling stuff. Don't rotate. It's how you get yourself wrecked. And then you sell something in the XRP and it pumps up 2x or whatever out of the blue, and what you bought went down a little bit. Now you're going to have a bad feeling towards it. So just, you shouldn't be doing that, and always just take a little new money from the side, or if it's profits, maybe take a little bit of profit. But other than that, be very careful out here. Don't go crazy, and ask people for help that are in these communities. We have so many good people here that are willing to help in spaces, in Telegram chats all day long, and they want to help people. They truly do.
Yeah, absolutely. You got anything you want to share, Goo, to elaborate, or you guys have anything else that you're like, hey, we didn't get to share this? I just want to respect you guys' time. I really appreciate you guys coming here. Apparently you guys have been taking flack for many years, right? What's a little bit more extra punches, right? Anyway.
Yeah, nah, I'm used to it, bro. I'm good. It ain't nothing to me, man. Like I said, I stand on the hill that everybody will eventually bridge to PulseChain. Everybody will get in when they deserve to. That's it. I'm so bullish on PulseChain, bro. PulseChain has changed my life, has taught me so much. Just being around the people and just experimenting on the blockchain and everything else, bro. Like, it's nothing bad I could really say about it. So, yeah, I'm good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Adam?
Appreciate having us on the show, as I think this is the way that we all grow together. I've been doing this for 4 years, shilling PulseChain. I think I'm the only person on the internet that talks about Hex, PulseChain, XRP, Hedera, I talk about stuff that I like, and I do more research and am around the space and just obsessed with crypto. I think more than 99.999% of people. So when you're here every day and you talk to so many people, certain projects kind of stick out from each others, and the cream rise to the top, and you start putting connections together. You start seeing things. Say, all right, that's going to be the one. That's the one right there. And I have that conviction on the stuff that I talk about, which it's all the utility stuff you love, Titan X and PulseChain, because it truly is people that are smarter than me, people that have the passion that Gugat has, that they know what they're doing, and they're all working together. It's not like on Titan X, all these projects launch and they're all fighting down each other's necks. Everyone's getting along. On PulseChain, people, it's not there yet because the prices are down, but it'll come back and everyone will get along. But a lot of those projects from Titan X are going to bridge off of ETH onto PulseChain. Titan X is going to be omni-chain with X28 very soon. It's going to be all over crypto. So, this is just the beginning, and we have been in these communities for years and years. And if they were scams or whatever, it's like, you don't think we see this shit coming from a mile away? I mean, it's just a joke. It's laughable at this point. And like that guy, like it's I could tell he has no clue he's talking about, because he said he traded UFO. It's like, nobody trades a 6% tax coin. That means every time you go in and out, you just lost 12%. So it's like, why would you be trading? No one trades that coin. It just doesn't exist.
It might not
So
even be the same UFO. I mean, I hold
It's not the same
the
one.
meme coin, like UFO gaming, and that is clearly a rug pull from that was on
Last cycle. Yeah, last cycle. That was
it's
a
not the same. Like I
whack-ass
asked
gaming token.
I asked Adam, I said, it's just like, like there's like Volt or whatever. And he was like, no, it's a different Volt. It's just there's same names. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's one of those things. But guys, just to give you a heads up, Adam's been, Vibra Finance. I know that it's you and Lindsay, which is cool. How cool to have your significant other helping you out, or vice versa. You guys covering stuff, and she brings alpha. I've seen some shows. That's pretty cool. You have some, women in crypto. I've seen some of your shows. It's cool. But he's been covering this stuff since, what is it, like 2020? I know it was before me. I know that much. This channel actually started December 2021. And I believe you said you're not just this bull market, 2021. You might even be before that. So you've been covering this stuff, and you're still around. You know what I mean? You had all the opportunity to just, be.
And he's gonna be here for plenty to come. We were just having the conversation today of what we're not gonna sell going out of the bull run. And we're not selling Flare, we're not selling Clearpool, we're not selling Stronghold, we're not selling Velo. Like we were just literally having this conversation, bro. Like there's tokens that we're planning for the next cycle. And it's some of the tokens that all you guys in here are most bullish on. So it's not like we're in here trying to grift you or trying to use you as exit liquidity. Like we're all the same community. We all have the same interest in heart. You know what I mean? Like we're just trying to show you what's working for us and what's interesting and what's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to point this out also. This is not the first time I cover projects that were controversial. Shout out to Cool Cat Crypto. Hey, brother, glad to have you here. GG, I saw you guys in the chat. I think we also had, some of the other familiar people, GT in the house. Glad to have you guys here. I just want to recognize some of you guys. Really, really do appreciate you guys. GS. But yeah, I've covered things. You don't think BSV is controversial, right? You are contradicting yourself, Max. You're covering Hex, and Richard Hart spoke up against BSV. Okay, and I focus on the tech and how it's going to benefit me. I don't join a club or a cult or whatever the case be. All right, but I'm open-minded, and that's the main thing. Some people are open-minded, and that's okay. It is what it is. So we do appreciate you guys. Give these guys a follow on their channels. Obviously, we're going to pull up just a few of them. I think it's the right thing to do. Number one, we're going to pull up, Adam's channel over at Vibra Finance. Give him a follow. Get used to seeing some of these guys because we're looking to do more collaborations. This is the second time Adam has been a guest on the show. Okay. And here is, well, I didn't. Yeah, here we go. I was going to say, I thought I had it primed and ready. I apologize. So here is his channel. He has excellent content. He really knows DeFi, in my opinion. All right. So some of you guys appreciate the deep dives I do. So here's his channel. He covers things like, I obviously cover things like Stronghold. He covers XLM, XRP, you name it, your quants, your Jasmines, and so on. He doesn't put out a lot of recorded videos, but I think you mentioned that might change. But he does live shows way more than I do, which is cool. Yeah, look at that. He's just crushing it with the live streams. He's very passionate about what he covers. So help his community. Look at that. See, Ripple, Saucer Swap. I covered all these things. Is there something you want to share, Adam, real quick about what to look out for on your channel? Maybe like you have a special guest, something you want to talk about in regards to your channel over at Vibra Finance, all one word, everybody.
I'm Vibra Finance on Twitter and YouTube. I'm streaming multiple nights a week, usually 10 to 11 o'clock ish Eastern Standard Time. So tune in if you want. And that's pretty much it. Looking forward to doing this more often. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And Goo God can be followed over on X. I'll show you guys some of his particular X because, X gonna give it to you, right? Forget getting your Titan on X on your own. Goo God gonna deliver it to you. All right, I'm kidding. All right, here we go. And here is his X. And there he is. Goo God the degenerate. That's kind of funny. So you can follow him over at GUUGOD777. All right. And as you can clearly see, he's not just into strictly only, DeFi and, he's into some of the blue chips as well, and obviously our brother Will, heck, we're doing a dual stream, so I don't have to tell you about Will's channel if he's streaming also, right? But Will can be followed over at WillFix7 over on X, and of course, you guys know about his channel. So really appreciate you guys. Just want to recognize the last bit of comments. Yeah. Yeah, Cool Cat says, how dare Richard flood my BSV? See, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm glad to do a good show. The way I look at it's like this. I pray for everybody. Kev, if you're still listening, I pray for you. You may think I lost my mind by covering Hex. Guess what? I'm okay with that, brother. All right. So with that said, as the saying goes, know what you have, know why you hold it. Our research, yes, our research as a community trumps the FUD 110%. And if you're that one guy who's like, forget it, you just FUD'd me out, that's okay too. Praying for all you guys. God bless you all. If you guys just have a moment, Will, Goo, Adam, let's go backstage after the show's over, talk just a little brief bit. Smash that like on the way out. Give these guys a follow. Guys, we'll see you on the next one. I don't know how soon we'll do another show, but looking forward to doing that. Actually, just real quick, Adam and Goose, since they're our special guests, Will, I know you're a special guest, but we're doing a dual stream, bro. So, Adam and Goo, whoever wants to go first, you guys have the closing last words.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, guys, and it's not easy, you know, when you have typically heard Richard Hart's a scammer, and you've heard Hex is a cult, and you get people coming in the chat just saying obnoxious stuff. It's hard to, you know, ignore that and put it aside. So take your time, go look. There's so much amazing content out there, so many good people in the community. And it really is DeFi without anyone else getting in the way. It's you and the smart contracts. There's multiple ways of earning passive income where you could put your stuff into liquidity pools. You could put your stuff into different platforms out here. And I just been around for a while, and I see the opportunities that are here. And I just encourage you to take a look. Goo God, Enki, Alien, UFO, PTGC, pDAI, start there. And obviously PulseChain and Hex, those are the two blue chips, never going anywhere. And Richard Hart is one of the richest people in crypto. He's a billionaire, and he really cares about his people. If you go watch any of his old streams and you watch 2 or 3 of them and you think he's out to scam people or he's a bad guy, then I don't think crypto's for you.
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody, man, just have good karma, bro. Just do what's right. Just be stand up. I mean, you know, that people ask me, how are you successful in this game? How are you able to just always be at the right place at the right time? How do you do it, bro? I just have good karma. That's it. I do my best to live my life like a monk, bro. And sometimes it gets boring, but it pays off in the end. So just do right, man. It sounds cliche and it sounds like, what is this guy on? But trust me, when it clicks, bro. So just do the right thing, man.
I know what you're on, Goo. You've been smoking some of that Will Fix Hopium. Smoking a fatty, right? Right, Will? Remember how you talked about that in your original videos,
Roll
bro?
up a fatty. Yeah.
Let's go.
That's funny. Well, actually, how about this, Will? You get the last word, bro. Glad to have you on. And
oh man, I was just glad to be here. You know, you guys did a great job answering the questions, and I got more questions, but now it's more about, hey, when I get involved, what do I do? So I'm going to get on and poke around and see what's going on there. And I think it was good advice. Put new money in. I like that idea. It's a great idea. And it seems like I always lose if I try to pull out of one project and stick in another, and then I watch that other one soar and I go, oh man, you know. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Goo. It's nice to meet you, man. And thank you. What's your name?
Adam. He just came back. Yeah, he got rugged on the stream, but he came back.
Yeah. Didn't want to call him Vibe.
Maybe he's cool with that. He has kind of a good vibe. Look how well dressed this man is.
Yes, he's ready to go.
That's the best man. That's the best dressed man in crypto, bro. Every time I see this guy, he's got scarves on and designers and different Hex and PulseChain hats, bro. This kid is fresh, man.
Well, how about this? How about this? All right, maybe this will please a few people. I think you're muted, Adam. Yeah, you are. He's better dressed than Richard Hart. You know, Richard Hart has all that Gucci and whatnot. Anyway, yeah, I think when you got disconnected, it resetted your StreamYard settings, Adam. So, yeah, we can't hear you, brother. But listen, we're going to go backstage. We do appreciate you guys. Just want to give you, some of you guys a shout out real quick because you rock. Cool Cat Crypto in the house. Cat GG. Fishing with Joe, or with Camo Joe, obviously from Vibra's area. He's always supporting us in the space. You guys rock. Matt Sawyer, Jay Pormer, you guys rock. Glad to have you guys. The one and only Greg Bolu in the house. Glad to have you, Greg. Really appreciate it. Nice meeting you over in Tennessee, by the way. Edward Vincent. Anyway, there's probably a lot of other people. If I missed a super chat, it was not on purpose. I don't think I did. So I think that's about it. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up right at the 2-hour mark exactly. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Look out for recorded videos from myself and Will on our collaboration. And we'll see you guys next time. You guys stick around. I'm just going to end the stream real quick. Anyway, here we go.